I've actually written this question down in two different ways. It has to do with Ricardo, you talked about these wonderful people in your lives who were mentors.
Mm-hmm.
As our younger leaders think of the people that they're trying to emulate as they're moving up in the corporation, they may or may not bump into leaders who have transformed from ego driven to community purpose driven. They probably will see a few though.
Mm-hmm.
And so what are kind of the practical principles? What are the practical principles or the practical things that I need to engage in to help me as a leader move from fear and self-preservation and things that traumatize an organizational culture to embracing that greater good, and that clarity of purpose that ennobles and honors an organizational culture.
Um,
Ricardo, you talked to us about that you went from one to another. Bob observes that you went from one to another. But it's not clear to me
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
what the key nuggets or the key jewels are of how I look at this, and when everything is saying preserve yourself to become vulnerable to the greater good. What are the key practical
Mm-hmm.
principles that I can maybe put some hooks up for me that I can hang on to?
And
Well,
maybe
Brett, yeah, go ahead.
maybe I can take a shot at that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That's good.
I've asked hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of executives to identify the person in their life
Mm-hmm.
who left the most positive legacy in their life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this could be their mother, their third grade teacher, their high school coach, their first boss, could be anybody. But I have them pick that person. Then I have them pick a partner and tell the story about this mentor to their partner, and then vice versa. And then I asked them to answer this question: what did these two mentors that left such a positive legacy have in common? Then I asked the whole class to share the characteristics.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Those characteristics fall in four statistically known categories or factors. The first one is selflessness or idealized influence. That is, this person cared about the collective good more than they did about themselves. They cared about me more than they cared about themselves. Number two is individualized concern.
Mm-hmm.
They knew who I was, they knew me. They saw me as a unique individual. They understood my weaknesses and my strengths. Number three was inspirational motivation.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, they connected me to a better future. In me, they saw potential I didn't see in myself. And then related to that, the fourth one is a poor label. It's called intellectual stimulation. But what it really means is they connected me to that future. And then instead of telling me what to do, they asked me questions.
Hmm.
They forced me to think for myself. They empowered me, right? Now, when I put those on the board, it shocks the people in the room because it fully captures these people that they love. Now, the person they love that left this positive legacy is not someone from the cover of Time magazine. It's not Jack Welch. It's not Steve Jobs. It's their grandmother, their uncle. All through society,
Mm-hmm.
for every 100 people, there's one person like this. So we run into them. We know them, right? And these are people who make a positive difference in our lives. Those are the 4 characteristics of transformational leadership. Now, here's a formula for answering your question. If I'm in crisis, or if I've got people that I care about, how do I bring what we've been talking about to these people? And I can do that by asking 4 questions in any situation. What result do I want to create? What's the highest purpose here? Most people can't answer that question. The moment you do, everything changes. Second question, am I internally directed? Am I operating in integrity, in an authenticity? Or do I have to hide my agenda? Right? I perform very differently in those 2 states. Third question, am I other focused? Do I understand the deepest needs and interests of these people? When Ricardo walked into that place to fire people, he wasn't firing numbers. He understood that they were going home and talk to their wife. Right? And the 4th question is, am I externally open? Can I live in equality with you, no matter how many stars on my shoulder? And can we co-create the future by learning together? Now, when you answer those 4 questions, your state of being changes. Your hormones change. You begin to pump in your brain oxytocin. You perform differently, and you bring light to other people because you radiate the light. All right? And I think that if you were to take everything that Ricardo's said today and tried to boil that down to a to-do list, that's your to-do list. 1, what does excellence look like? Well, I know the answer because I have people in my life that have left a positive legacy. 2, how do I do it? Well, I answer 4 questions. What result do I want to create? Am I internally directed? Am I other focused? And am I externally open? And it thrusts me into a high performing state where I'm working not for myself, but for the higher good.